This is Jocko Podcast number 95 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress July 9th, 1918, takes pleasure in presenting the Distinguished Service Cross to Second Lieutenant Air Corps James K. Kunkle, United States Army Air Forces, for extraordinary heroism in connection with military operations against an armed enemy while serving as the pilot of a P-38 fighter airplane in the 401st Fighter Squadron, 370th Fighter Group, 9th Air Force, in aerial combat against enemy forces on 16 September 1944 during an air mission over Aachen, Germany. On this date, while flying as rear man in a squadron on an armed reconnaissance mission, Lieutenant Kunkle noticed that his squadron was about to be surprised by a vastly superior force of enemy aircraft. Unable to summon his leader on the radio, he alone, unhesitatingly, pulled away from his formation and vigorously attacked the enemy, immediately destroying one of his aircraft. In doing so, Lieutenant Kunkle placed himself in a position to be attacked from rear and above. When this attack materialized, many hits were registered on his aircraft, which caught fire, burning his face, neck, and hands. Despite his burning plane and the gunfire from enemy planes, Lieutenant Kunkle continued his attack against the vastly superior enemy force and succeeded in destroying a second enemy aircraft, breaking off combat only when forced to parachute to safety when his left fuel tank exploded. Second Lieutenant Kunkle's unquestionable valor in aerial combat is in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflects great credit upon himself, the 9th Air Force, and the United States Army Air Forces. So, that is a military citation for a Distinguished Service Cross, and this pilot also flew missions just after D-Day, including armed reconnaissance flights and attacks on German trains and vehicles and airfields, and also this pilot flew close air support missions to help push Germany out of France and drive Allied troops towards victory. And it is an absolute honor to have this pilot, this hero, on the podcast with us today, Mr. Jim Kunkle. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. It is great to have you on.
More than welcome.